Welcome back to my channel. It has been a minute since I recorded. As time was going on, I kept thinking about recording and I was like, oh my God, it's been a month. Oh my God, it's been 2 months. I think it's been a couple months. And there's always reasons for that. I do want to keep this fresh and not come at it just in a mediocre sort of way. I always really kind of stop and feel led to share something specific. And so the end of the year gets a little busy with the end of the semester for me teaching and final grades and, letters of recommendations and all of these things that come just, wrapping up a semester. And then it's the holidays and then, just everything else. And so I actually attempted to record a few videos and I wasn't feeling them all the way. And so if I'm not feeling it, I can't expect y'all to feel it. So I wanted to wait until I felt like I had something that was worthy of sharing. And so what I decided to do was I'm stealing from myself. I have a blog as well, as y'all know, favorcampbell.blog. And so what I decided to do, instead of focusing on, which I feel like a lot of people are, reminding us that, hey, we always have something to be grateful for. I am going to give every single person the benefit of the doubt and say, I think we all know that, right? There's selfish people out there and, toxic people and stuff, but I think a lot of us, we know we're fighting mentally to say, yeah, life sucks right now in a lot of ways, but there's always something to be grateful for. But I think we got that. I think we know that. And so I didn't want to come out with my top 10 grateful list. What I decided to do was do the 10 lessons that I've learned throughout 2020. Good riddance, goodbye. I'm recording this on New Year's Eve. This is my New Year's Eve present to myself to say goodbye to 2020 and we welcome 2021 with the hope and the prayer that it is a much better year. And whatever that looks like for you, I hope and pray that it really, truly is a much better year for you, because I don't know one person walking around that has not been impacted by something in some shape or form. Even if it's not COVID related, everybody has been impacted. So I hope what this video does, I hope it encourages you to maybe stop and reflect. I'm really big about spending time individually by yourself, reflecting on past things, what you can take from those so you don't either make the same mistake or you can be better, or that's what life is really full of lessons, right? And lessons are something you're supposed to get something out of. And so this is my top 10 of things that I have learned from 2020, starting with number 1. I have really come to understand and appreciate how valuable my health is. And let me just caveat by saying, if you've already read my blog, this is probably going to be a repeat, but I'm kind of going into it a little bit more detail in less than 10 minutes. That is my goal. But y'all know that, for those of you who know me well, know I've always, not always, but for the latter part of my 30s, and, I just turned 40 this year. So health has been part of my life in a big sort of way. Y'all know I used to personal train. So it's been there for me, but even more so now because COVID, y'all, it doesn't discriminate. It hasn't discriminated. There's been people that have been completely healthy that have gotten COVID and succumbed to it. And yes, there have been plenty of people who have been unhealthy and underlying health conditions. So it's like a roll of the dice is what I've been saying. It's like they're Black, white, Hispanic, Christian, Muslim, agnostic, whomever. It's whoever, right? And so it has really made me take a step back and be really appreciative and to value the health, especially as now am I considered middle age at 40? I don't know. I don't know if I want to embrace that or not, but either way, I value my health. Number 2, God really does look out for you when you put him first. I feel like for me personally, and this is mine, okay? So again, maybe it causes you to reflect on something for yourself, but I have really gotten to a point in my life where I have given God permission, so to speak, to do as he will. And I trust him that much. And it doesn't come easy. Some days I really have to work at my trust and my faith and making sure, because, faith is believing in something that you don't necessarily see. And so, I have seen him come through every single time that I put him first. And so again, a lesson learned for me is that God really does look out for you when you do put him first. Number 3, I'm grateful for the closeness of a teenager who likes to hang out with me. She says to me, she has said to me on several occasions that she really loves the fact that we have these awesome hour and a half conversations. Sometimes at the worst moment, because sometimes we'll be trying to work out and we just start talking and then we don't get our workout in. But nonetheless, I appreciate the conversations, and she's almost 15, and she tells me that she appreciates and she loves the fact that we're close and that she likes to have conversations with me. And I tell her all the time, I think I get the one up on her on that, because as the parent, I really appreciate the fact that my daughter, who is 15, almost 15 next month, really enjoys hanging out with me. So I think that's kind of awesome to have a teenager in this day and age who really actually likes to hang out with me. Number 4, things can be replaced, but it's okay to miss them. So no surprise, because I think I did a video, I've done blogs and everything on our house fire that we had back in July. And I don't know I can't remember honestly how much detail I went into it, but my whole house didn't burn down. Matter of fact, if you look at my house from the front, minus all the construction that's being done right now, but if you looked at it right at the front, you really couldn't tell that there was a fire. The fire was in the back of the house, and the fire completely destroyed my closet and 95% of my wardrobe. I hang up everything in my closet. 95% of my wardrobe, all my shoes, everything got destroyed. And so I had sweatshirts that I had bought somewhere that we all have that favorite thing, that favorite outfit, or, my box of trinkets that I kept as a mom. I keep everything. And so the little artsy thing she made me from preschool, kindergarten, I kept that in my closet. And so even thinking about it now, it kind of makes me emotional, because I miss those things. And I heard my fair share of, they're just things, most importantly, you guys are okay. Absolutely 100%. But I mentioned this in my blog. I think sometimes we get to the point where we're trying to be honorable and say, yes, they're just things. But it's okay. You can still be a good person and not live your life, about making it about things, and still miss the things that you had. And so I've learned to say, you know what? Yes, they were just things, but at the same time, there's a lot of things that I do miss at the end of the day. Number 5, I'm looking down at my list, so that's why I keep looking down. But number 5, therapy is invaluable. Again, those of you who know me well know that I go to therapy, counseling, however you want to label it. I am very open and vulnerable about that. I go to a therapist or a counselor. I don't go to a psychiatrist, or she's not a psychiatrist. She's a licensed therapist. And so I've been doing that since 2016. And I will tell you, it is invaluable. It really, really is. I teach this in my classes. I share it with whoever will listen to me, because we all have something that we're carrying around. We're all dealing with something. And so counseling is that very objective, outside professional opinion. Well, I shouldn't say opinion, but information that you can get to help you navigate through life, whether it's your relationships, whether it's through work, whether it's through, whatever circumstance you're dealing with. And sometimes, you need a check-in. You just need to be able to talk to somebody outside of family, friends, who are always going to lean towards being a little bit biased. So therapy, invaluable. It doesn't make you weak. We got to leave that myth way behind us. Okay. Number 6, plan, but with flexibility. Okay. So I actually feel like my YouTube channel is a better way to explain this than I did on my blog, but plan, but with flexibility. And so for me, again, this goes back to my faith, and, it's kind of like you do your part, God will do his part. And planning with flexibility, God has taught me that yes, it's important for me to have my set goals. I want to write my second book. And so I'm trying to, plan for that and make goals. And I know that writing is within my purpose as far as teaching and all of that. But also be a little bit flexible, because God may decide, or he may already have something planned for you that you need to be ready, if you're willing, to be obedient in that way to do. And so that's what I mean by plan with flexibility. I use the analogy of writing stuff down with a pencil, right? I don't write in pen anymore. I write in pencil in case I need to go back and erase and, rewrite something that he's told me to do. And so, yes, I have plans for what I want to do in the future. You absolutely need to plan and, pray and ask for guidance in those areas, but also know you got to be a little bit flexible in case he decides to, move you into a different direction, but that direction will always be better. Okay, number 7, what you do with your time is completely on you. Okay, so I use myself again as an example in this. I was reading a book one day, and in the book, it was written by a pastor, and he was saying, matter of fact, he might have talked about this on his YouTube channel sermon, and he was saying that, a lot of people will think that he's like in pastor mode 100% of the time, and he's like, no, I do other stuff outside of this. And he's like, one of the things that might surprise people is that I spend some time playing video games. That is like, he was saying that's like his go-to kind of decompress, sort of thing. And like I said, I think I might have read in the book, but he was talking about how, sometimes it's good to have those things that we do that just kind of, they're for us. It doesn't have to always be, you don't always have to be on 10 all the time. And I'm guilty of that. I always feel like I need to use my time wisely. So if I have downtime, that's not good. I should be writing, or I should be prepping for a class or getting more information. And so one of the things I started doing was playing a game on my phone. It's not Candy Crush or nothing like that. It's not even like my I used to get talked about for this because like decompressing for me, like I like word games and I hate math, but sometimes I like math puzzles. It's weird. It's the weirdest thing, but it kind of relaxes me. So, but if I decide to do that, as opposed to spending maybe 2 hours writing on my book, that's on me. I can't blame someone and say, well, it's their fault, or I should, no, I made the choice, right? So I think that's just kind of a, little bit tough love type lesson that I share and that I have learned, is that whatever you decide to do with your time, we're all allotted the same 24 hours per day, however long you decide to sleep, however you divvy up that time, it's on you. Lesson learned for me, okay? I enjoy my downtime, though, a little bit with the mindless games because I feel like my mind is always going and thinking. So it's actually been kind of nice to do that every now and again. Okay, number 8, you can be cautious without being fearful. This has been my mantra for dealing with COVID, okay? A lot of times I will say to each his own on certain things. I guess I will say to each his own as long as you wear a mask, when it comes to COVID, wearing a mask, not wearing a mask is just, I would just need you to stay far, far away from me if that's the case. But, so I'm not going to say to each his own because I do think you should be wearing a mask, but I will say that as a person of faith, I've heard a lot of times it said that, well, hey, as a Christian, we should not live our life in fear. Wholeheartedly, 100%. Yes, I get that. Got it. Yes. However, fear and being cautious are two different things. Okay. And so in my mind, that's how I've approached. And I feel like has been what has worked for me. Okay. I'm not saying it's the right 100% way to live life, but I do feel like you can be cautious, I don't go out a whole lot. My only outings really were to church on the weekends because I did feel like they had good, precautions in place in the beginning. I kind of actually stopped going because I felt like there were a little bit too many people walking around without a mask, but out to dinner every now and again. So, and that was pretty much it. I mean, I ordered my groceries online and whatnot. So again, being cautious, being aware, take hand sanitizer, wash your hands as much as you possibly can. You can never wash your hands too much. But I don't think that's the same thing as living in fear, And so COVID is obviously the thing that's at the forefront of my mind with that. But, again, I think it's doable, honestly. Okay, 9 and 10, because my video ended up longer than I wanted it to be. Number 9, God can and will strip you in order to build you up stronger. I am living that wholeheartedly right now. People, possessions, places, property, I should say, have all been things that I have been stripped of in 2020. And it has left me feeling very discouraged at times, very depleted, very overwhelmed, very stressed. And so In the midst of all of that, though, I've done my best to hang on to my faith, and I feel myself being built back up stronger. And so that's an amazing, amazing feeling. Last, learn to love you. Number 10. Y'all know I refer to my lovely apartment as my cave. God has placed me in this nice cave. I will say that. And one of the lessons, I've spent a lot of time by myself. And so learning to love me, I can't be good company to anybody else if I'm not good company to myself. And so I embrace the alone time that I have. I feel like I'm here for a purpose, but with that I've had to come to a point, and I've kind of been at this point, and not in a conceited way, but I do love me. There's things I want to get better at and improve and, change in some ways. But for all intents and purposes, all the lessons that I have learned have boiled back around to me loving me. And I hope and I pray, and that is my prayer for you in this upcoming year, is that you do some time to reflect and ask yourself if you do love you. Because if you don't, it's going to make it really hard to allow other people to come close to you and expect them to love you in a way that you don't even love yourself. And so that is my prayer. I wish you the very, very best this upcoming year in every facet of life. That's the best way I can put it. So thank y'all for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful New Year. Stay safe, wear your mask, and I will see y'all on the next video.